Hi guys, I'm Gina Bever and I did my research paper on dyslexia. Dyslexia is a specific learning disability that primarily affects reading, spelling, and writing skills. Although it's now widely recognized as a specific learning disability, that hasn't always been the case. Views on dyslexia have significantly changed since its early discovery in the late 19th century. German neurologist Adolf Kussmaul named the condition word blindness and attributed it to an ocular defect. Although Adolf recognized the condition, it was coined by Rudolf Berlin along with other common diagnoses such as paralexia and alexia. Nearly 20 years later, James Henchelwood gave due credit to Kussmaul, recognizing that he was the first one to acknowledge the disorder. The first and now famous case study by W. Pringle Morgan was about a 14-year-old boy who struggled with reading despite normal intelligence. This famous case study is now attributed to the condition of dyslexia. However, at the time, it was still seen as a visual disorder. During the early to mid-20th century, researchers began to associate dyslexia with neurological functioning rather than visual or purely educational causes. In the 1920s, American neuropathologist Samuel T. Orton proposed that reading disorders might stem from a lack of cerebral dominance, an imbalance in hemispheric control of language processing. Although this theory was later disproven, Orton's work marked a crucial turning point in connecting dyslexia to brain function and laid the groundwork for future neurological and educational research. Around the same period, British educational psychologist Cyril Burt also explored the relationship between intelligence, brain function, and reading difficulties. However, Burt's other research later faced serious controversy due to allegations of data falsification. Despite these issues, his work contributed to the growing perception that dyslexia could be addressed through targeted educational interventions. At the same time, social attitudes surrounding dyslexia reflected class-based assumptions, with the condition often associated with middle-class children. Though unfounded, traces of this stigma persist in certain social and educational contexts today. The social stigma surrounding the recognition of dyslexia as an official learning disability has persisted for over a century. Despite substantial advances in research and advocacy, empirical studies have consistently demonstrated that dyslexia is associated with a range of long-term challenges, including diminished academic performance, increased school dropout rates, and a greater likelihood of lower socioeconomic attainment. Nevertheless, in many U.S. states, dyslexia is still not afforded consistent legal recognition or protection under education law, leaving identification and support largely dependent on local policy and resources. Current research underscores that early, evidence-based screening and intervention are among the most effective strategies for improving literacy outcomes and mitigating the broader social and economic impacts of dyslexia.